Megan yet to score.
Right. In fact, we've already started the round 5 game, but Andy is playing the Yuj gambit. He dropped round 1, then he went on a string of wins to lead the tables just like Yuj did this morning. And let's see, we've got a lot of options here. You want to do Andy and Ryo, the Battle of Texas?
Yeah, let's take a look in on that battle and see how the two, what do you say, statesmen? Are they countrymen? Are they
I
Texans?
don't know that we have a term for that, but we're going to go with statesman. In fact, I got a fun little trivia question here. They're both from Texas. And when we asked all the players if you could change one rule about chess, what would you pick? They both independently picked the same thing, which is they wanted to get rid of the castling rule. Now, I know there's a type of chess with a certain name attached to this variant of chess, but I'm going to propose we rename it the Texas no two-step because there's a dance called the Texas two-step, and because we're disqualifying the king from moving 2 squares, I'm officially proposing that no castling chess be called the Texas no two-step. That's a bit of a mouthful. Chat, love it or hate it, let me know. Don't hold back. Let's go back to the chess game.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Also reminds me of a variant that I used to play as a kid called shooting chess, and that one was a lot of fun. Okay, it didn't involve any guns, gotta say. It just involved that you just captured you captured a piece without actually moving that piece. So, for instance, in this particular game,
Okay.
White could just go knight takes d5. You just lift the knight off the board, and you wouldn't move the knight from f3. Makes for a very exciting type of chess, but unfortunately, different type of chess, different kind of rules. And now here we're going to see that there's going to be some break in the center. And now this is the question: to take or not to take. If you're a streamer, you're en passant immediately. If you don't, then the question is, well, what are you going to do with White's space advantage?
I need you to help me. C4 takes away the bishop's retreat square. What if we deftly put the bishop on G4 and then play A6? I guess F3 would have been the antidote, but man, White was really gambling by almost trapping his own bishop there. But apparently it doesn't work, and Black makes the break in the center. This is called a lever or a lever, and the rook is going to open up on the F file.
Yeah, and this is one of those positions where optically White has a nice position, but it's very easy for Black to play. You know, you are just either going to be going f takes e4 and give yourself potentially a protected passed pawn on d4, or if you want, and you hold the tension that little bit longer, you can go f4, g5, and something that we call a pawn roller. And I personally love that particular plan, but Black is the one who is spoilt for choice, whereas White, I mean, where are you going to go? Are you going to kind of continue with going b4? Are you going to resolve the tension? And you know what? White was worried, so they took first and then they went b4.
Right. Take first, ask questions later. I think it was the pawn roller that White was worried about. Now, White doesn't have quite as natural of a pawn break. C5 is not possible at the moment. B5 doesn't do a lot except give this knight an incredibly juicy outpost. The bishop is finding a hard time actually getting to a productive square. So seems like an easier game for Black to play. The computer still likes White, but in a practical sense, I think Black is just an easier color to play, especially in a blitz game. Both players have about the same amount of time on their clock. Now we see C5 happen. It's kind of a pawn sack, but if you take twice, bishop A3 is a little bit annoying. It's skewering all of Black's pieces. So that's probably what White is gambling on. Also, this pawn is loose, so you've got to watch out for that. So I like this break. I think it was a timely break by Andy to finally give Ryo something to worry about. But undaunted, here we go, G4. All the lines are opening on the White king.
Yeah, and I mean, White perhaps was dreaming of making moves such as Queen B3 check, taking on B7 and getting active, but G4, how do you like them apples? And suddenly that provokes a mistake, F4. And the question is like, what happens if you can just take it? Just take the pawn and then lift the tail. And sure enough, that's exactly what Ryo is doing. Queen is going to move. F3 is in the air. So Andy better have something very effective.
Yeah, I mean, he just played Tata Steel Challengers and won it, so obviously he's got the chops, but what does he have here? It keeps on looking incredibly scary. By the way, Yovi, you get 1 point for the 90s movie reference. Thank you for that Goodwill Hunting quote. And Yovi, it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
No, it's not my fault. No.
I'm not sure what's her fault. Okay, except the good analysis. Okay, the queen's about to come back to F7 because If this pawn gets captured, you might need to snap up the c pawn. But no, this is a man on a mission. Ryo does not care about the queen side. All Ryo wants to do is give checkmate. And you know what? He might just do it. This white king is looking denuded, a word that Irina Krush once taught me during a live interview. The king is absent of pawns guarding him. He is denuded, and there are checkmate threats coming on the g file, queen g6, queen g2 being the immediate problem.
Yeah, and the king was actually forced to go to f2 to act as a blockader to that pawn. And now, what would you know? The king isn't the best blockader because the rook to g2 is now a massive threat in the position. And how does one handle that? You can't go queen takes f3 because the rook will go back to where it came from with rook to f6. And whoops-a-daisy, the queen falls. So that's out of the question. Rook to g1 looks like another natural way to defend against this rook check. But then you have to calculate what's going to be happening after rook takes rook and maybe f2. And maybe white is getting away with some defense there. So it's not an easy position by any means.
The computer's only move to hold the balance is the absolutely ridiculous bishop to b2, which looks like you're putting your bishop literally on a square where the rook can come down and just threaten it. And it was found by Andy. I don't understand the move, but Andy is from the golden computer age of chess that kids all understand that I don't. And he finds it, and the rook comes in and makes a sacrifice. Okay, actually, sorry, just trades rooks. But now the queen's going to get to e2. I guess queen e4 only move, right? Yeah, only move.
Yeah, queen e4 only move, because otherwise if you move the king, f2 is coming on, the queen is going to land on e2, and that's going to be more or less curtains. Queen e4, and it's absolutely insane that this bishop to b2, and it was kind of holding the balance, but now these pawns are unstoppable, and Ryo wins. Oh, what a comeback from him, and Andy in big trouble.